all night. Acted all alright. Had no need to fight tonight.
What's going on, guys? Sean Pierce here at the Body Shop in East Brunswick, New Jersey. If you're watching this video, you want to learn how to do proper dermals. Today we're going to do back dimples, all right? It's actually very, very easy piercing to do, all right? Once you get down the technique, you'll find it's very, very simple. First thing I'm going to do is go over the tools that you're going to need. That's going to make it easier for you to do, all right? Then we're going to go ahead and mark them. I'll explain to you how to mark them properly. Then we're going to go ahead and execute the piercing. And then our other piercer here, Tisha Rings, she's going to go over the Aftercare Instructions with you guys. All right. So first thing, tools. All right. You want to get yourself 2mm dermal punches. All right. Makes for a much easier piercing. I know there's some piercers out there that like to use a needle. Me personally, I don't recommend it because it doesn't get all the tissue to make enough room for the anchor to sit in. Some piercers are very good at doing it with a needle. Me, I prefer to use the punch. It makes it much more easier and smoother. You're going to get 5mm titanium dermals. Alright, we're using the ones with the clear crystals. I like to start all the dermals off with a 5mm dermal. Alright, using a 3mm, 4mm, especially 3mm, I don't recommend starting it off with a 3mm at all, no matter which dermal you're doing. Only because the gauge of the anchor, the stem of the anchor, is almost identical to the 3mm. So any type of pressure is going to push that jewelry in. So at least with the 5mm, you have a platform for the dermal top to sit on, right, during the healing process. So besides the 5mm dermal, we're going to use a 4mm dermal clamp. I find that using this holds onto the dermal a lot easier, right, and a lot more firm. Sometimes the 5mm dermals, there's a little too much play. So if you're using a lot of pressure, sometimes it'll slip out. So get yourself the 4mm dermal, all right? When you put it in, you're gonna click it one time, that'll hold it in nice and tight, all right? So right now, we're gonna go ahead and swab the area. We're gonna mark it, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the piercing. Guys, no matter what, I don't care if it takes you 10, 15 times to make sure the marks are fine. Take your time with them, make sure they're even, because nobody wants piercings that are uneven or don't look right, all right? Hands to your side. Always make sure that the client is standing perfectly straight, feet side by side, and their arms are to their side. You want their body sitting absolutely natural. You're going to notice that a lot of people already have back dimples. Some are more obvious than others. Sometimes you're going to notice if a person has back dimples, they're actually not the most ideal people because their dimples don't sit even. One will be a little bit higher than the other. So sometimes piercing people that don't have back dimples is actually easier than piercing people that do have them. All right. So one thing you want to find is the middle point of their back. All right. You're going to pull the back down just so you can see a little bit at the top of their crack. You're going to go straight up. This way you find the middle of their back. Okay. So when you do that, as you can see, she has a back dimple. So this is going to be our main point where we're going to start. Now we want to make sure the other side is perfectly even. You want to get yourself a water-based white ink, all right? This way it doesn't affect the skin, it's not harmful, it's not toxic, and you can see the marks a lot more clear, okay? So we'll make one mark over here, and then we'll adjust it according to that mark. One thing I would definitely recommend is you can get any type of measuring tool, right? So if you start with a mark that's right here, the center point, make sure it's even on both sides. This way you can know where to make that adjustment. So we're going to make this mark a little more to the left. Now always, as soon as you're done and you think the mark is on, walk up a few steps. Keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. And stop right there. Stand perfectly still. Face the window right there. Yep, just like that. You'll be able to see more if it's even from a distance than up close. Okay? Come back a little more. Keep going, keep going. We're going to raise this one up just a little bit. Can you fold that down? There you go. All right, walk forward. Stand just right there. All right, that right there looks perfectly on point. So the next thing we'll do is, do you have your camera? Your phone?
Yeah.
Just put the camera on. Always make sure they have the last say. All right, so take a picture from a front angle, let them see it. If they want one move, walk forward, stop right there. All right, check that out. Make sure that looks even to you. If it doesn't, then let me know you want one higher or one lower.
No,
Good. All right. Go ahead, lay down, face down right here. Now, while we're getting everything set up, you want to make sure that the area is nice and clean. We already swabbed it. Now we're ready to put the Dermal on. Dermal should only take a couple seconds. Sometimes you'll see a little bit bleeding. Most of the time you won't see that much. There'll be maybe a drop or so. When you put these in, okay, when you put them in the clamp, you should face them a certain way. Always make sure you finger tighten it to make sure the top is on. You're going to put it in just like this. Make sure that the top of the dermal top is nice and flush with the clamp. You always want it to be facing this way. The length of the anchor should be aligned with the forceps just like this, because when you go in, you're going to go in like this, scoop under the skin, and slide it over. All right? Always keep the anchor and the clamp at arm's length distance. Make sure you have some cotton swabs, because like I said, it does bleed sometimes. We're going to use a 2mm dermal punch. And if you come over this way, one thing you want to do is massage the area to loosen up the tissue. Makes it a lot easier to come out. So just massage it back and forth a little bit on all ends. Now you want to make sure that you pinch the skin just like this. Pinch it nice and tight, because when you put the punch in, you don't want there to be any leeway. If I were to go like this, there's too much leeway for the tissue to be manipulated. So sit just like that. Just go around the area. Get right on the top. Just like this. Big breath in. Spin it as you push. Just like that. Now you're going to rotate it and spin it at the same time. That's going to remove the tissue underneath to make room for the anchor. Spin it as you pull out. Just like that. You're going to go ahead, the long end first. Take the long end, push it all the way in, and slide it over. Just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and do the other one. Same thing. Manipulate the tissue a little bit. Just like that. Squeeze it. Put the top right there. Spin and push. Rotate it. Pinch the skin again. Pull it out. Long end first. Go under the tissue and then slide it over. Just like that. And those are back dimples. Now, Ms. Tisha Rings is going to go over the aftercare with you guys.
Okay, so first things first, you want to make sure your hands are clean before you go to touch it or clean it. Shower-wise, you want to make sure you're using a soap that's sensitive to the skin. Dove is a really good one. And throughout the day, you want to make sure you're using Neomed's Piercing Aftercare Spray. This is actually really highly recommended, really good spray. Soft mist, gentle on the skin, and you want to use this 3 times a day. Make sure you're not doing any of the things it tells you not to do. We have aftercare instruction cards so that our clients don't forget, because people forget things. And yeah, you want to make sure you're not using any alcohol. Don't apply pressure to the piercing, especially when they're new. And honestly, for back dimple piercings, you want to make sure your pants aren't really tugging on them and things like that.
Alright guys, if you guys have any questions, any concerns at all, you can reach me on Instagram. Shoot me a DM anytime. I always accept DMs from my followers and subscribers, _Sean Pierce. Or if you had any questions for Tisha, Tisha_rings with a Z. You'll see the Instagram tags right after this. Until next time, take care.
Today.